What's up, y'all? This is Jay, and coming at you with some shoulder presses today. So, as I said, coming at you with some shoulder presses today. I'm going to give you guys a full layout of my shoulder days. It's going to be a full shoulder day, and we're starting off with the Smith machine shoulder presses. I got done just doing cardio right now, and get into something, just kind of do the warm-ups, get shoulders going until we start getting into like an intensity workout today. I think I want to kind of be a little bit dominant with shoulders today, a little aggressive approach today. I think this whole week I'm going to be a little bit aggressive with working out, but I'm going to start off with the Smith machine. Like I said, it's kind of a good way to have like some form of stabilization with both sides, have both sides going at the same time, and then eventually, kind of work on the free range, free weights, just to kind of see like what side we need to work on. But yeah, so I think I'm going to go ahead and start off with 30s. I'm going to give you two variations. We're going to go ahead and do vertically, horizontally. Just kind of hit the different parts of deltoids, shoulders. And yeah, I think I'm going to end up going ahead and doing like 3 sets of this. So go ahead and just start getting into it and kind of go from there. Okay, went ahead and did 10. Okay. Went ahead and did the 2 variations. We went ahead and hit 10 for both vertically, horizontally. Kind of hitting different little variations for the delts, both frontal, medial. But for the most part, feels good right now. Got a nice good little warm up kind of going, So, yeah. But let's go ahead and start jumping into the second set. Do the third set. Second set's going to go ahead and be for 10s, and then the third set's going to go ahead and be for 8. So. That felt real good. I don't know, like as far as like when I'm on the Smith machines, a lot of times I like to kind of have like the, I guess you could say, for grip wise, I don't really grab onto it. Kind of just try and drive off on my palms, elbows, keeping everything straight and just driving off. There's not really much that I would have to necessarily like grab onto, because it's not gonna like fall or anything. And as I'm pushing, trying to keep everything kind of like locked out. I'm not trying to do it half reps, unless I'm starting to do like a little burnout set, or I'm getting fatigued towards the end. That might be a little half rep or so. But I'm trying to keep everything kind of like full range of motion as I'm doing the shoulder press. So let's go ahead and move on to the last set. I'm doing for 8. Got 70 on right now. Kind of going from there. Okay. So with that, last set felt real good. Just kind of like having that control and having that full range of motion gives a lot of emphasis on the on that muscle group. But for the most part, I really cannot complain about that last set. So I'm gonna go ahead, start working on, moving on our way to the next available machine. I don't know exactly what I want to go ahead and do yet next, but want to eventually slowly make my way towards dumbbells. But yeah, so off to the next one. All right, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and work on shoulder presses. This isolated machine. Sorry about that. On the isolated machine, I have 25s on both sides. Start off something on warm up, something light. Start making our way heavy. But just want to start off with the 25 just to kind of see like where we're at and start progressively making our way up. Seeing if I can go ahead and hit a 45 and maybe either a 35 combination on each side. So like overall, if I'm having to like picture it like 205, if I could do like a 225, that'd be very nice today. But we'll kind of work our way up. I think what I'm gonna probably do is do 5 sets of 5. So let's start off there at least. I think for this one, I'm gonna do like a 2-hand variation. One close on the inside and then one medial. It feels good right now just to kind of have like a 2 like little variety. But like how I said before, it's nice because you kind of focus a little bit on the different part of the delt. So let's go ahead and change out the weights. Okay, so now we got 35s on both sides, so 70 pounds, 7 pounds. So I feel good, shoulders today feels pretty good. So let's see how we're gonna feel about this one. Right now I'm going for a medial approach and kind of going from there. That felt real nice. So, like I said, we're going up. Transition feels good, feels very smooth, and I'm gonna take full advantage. Like I said, right now I'm just hydrated. Made sure to hydrate myself before coming. Ate a couple of nice good sandwiches, and like I said, we're just gonna go ahead and hit shoulders aggressively today. Okay, let's go ahead for an inside approach. Okay. So I'll tell you, when it comes as far as like for how my seat is positioned for shoulder presses, I like to have like my seat all the way up. The only reason why for that is just because I just kind of like how the handles are kind of a little bit past the shoulders. And it's just because like I want a little bit more like range of motion and add a little bit more for my shoulders coming down and how much I got to push up. But yeah, you know, that's just kind of like my little take out of like right before going into like this fourth set. But yeah, you know, just depending on how you place the seat position. You know, if you're tall, of course, you're gonna be a little further down. A little short, bring it up in between. I like mine's all the way up just because, like I said, I just kind of like being here, like literally right here, kind of like shoulder height, right above the shoulder, close to the belt. Just kind of push a little bit more. So, all right, we're going ahead into the fourth set, and yeah, both variations, same thing. And then hopefully we'll see how we are off of this, and then we'll kind of dictate for this last fifth set. So go ahead. Felt real good. That was real nice. Real good push. Breathing technique really helping with it as well. But be a little bit further wide makes it easier, closer. Kind of showing a little bit. I think for this one, like I said, I wanted to kind of have that ideal of a like 225. I think I'm gonna go ahead and try and look for a 10, put a 10 on, and kind of go from there. So take it back. Not a 10, either a 5 or a 2. The hell am I talking about? All right. So like I said, small little hiccup. We're trying to look for like a 5 or a 2.5. If I would have put the 10 on, it would have put me at, 225. So we're at 215. Goodness. Excuse me. But I'm gonna go ahead and hit 215. I think I'm gonna start off close first and then finish off out. And then what I'm gonna go ahead and do is work on isolated push or presses, just to kind of see what side it is I need to kind of like focus on a little bit more. So let's go ahead and push and get the rep going. That was nice. That was a nice, good push. I'll go ahead and go medium. Oh, damn. To say that shit was heavy. We got 2 more. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of take like a little quick breather, kind of catch myself. I haven't drank water since like coming in. Just kind of want to start, like I said, warming up, getting adjusted, and then as soon as we go to the next station, I think I'm gonna start filling out with some water, get myself hydrated, stay hydrated. But yeah, so it's a nice push. See if we can go ahead and finish off the last 2. So go ahead. All right, so we're done for both. Now we're gonna go ahead and work on isolated. So, okay, we're gonna go ahead and start working on isolated. This one's nothing crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and do 2 sets of 10. All I'm just really seeing is kind of where I need to kind of work out. I need to adjust myself with technique-wise. You know, what side's dominant, what side's weak. And, you know, that's about it. I think that was 10. I did 10. I think I did an additional one, but I'm gonna go ahead and work on this side. All right. So we went ahead and did both sides. I'll be honest with you. Usually my left side performs better than my right. But today my right's doing better than my left. It's constantly changing up. So let's go ahead and jump into, or actually go up weight. Go ahead, go up in weight, and that'll be it. Okay, same thing. Go ahead, knock out these 10. That was nice. I'll tell you, I need to like really kind of work on the breathing. It's like I'm pushing it, but it's not like I'm working on my breathing technique at the same time. So let's try and put a little bit more emphasis on the breathing technique off of my left side. The left side. So go ahead and get it going. Well, I said I was gonna end up working on my breathing technique. I just literally looked at myself in the mirror straight ahead and didn't even bother. But all right, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next station. As I'm moving on to the next one, I'm just gonna go ahead and start hydrating, get some water in my system, like I said, and yeah, we'll see how the next one goes. So let's go. Okay, y'all, so we're gonna go ahead and do dips. And it's just kind of like, all right, well, why are you doing dips? Isn't dips supposed to be helping out, you know, like for triceps? Well, I don't even know why I turned it in. You know, doing dips just because to kind of put a little bit more emphasis on the shoulders. So if I'm leaning a little bit more forward and I'm pushing down more like shoulder and chest, I'm gonna feel it all here rather than in the back of my triceps. Now, if I was back here and as I'm pushing down, I'm putting more emphasis on the tricep. In this case, I'm gonna be kind of more forward than anything. And like I said, I'm gonna try and have a lot more activation on my delts. So I'm gonna just start off with something light, just kind of go from there. But here you go. Okay. went ahead and did 15 for that. For the second one, I'm gonna try and get somewhere in the ballpark of 10 to 15 for that one. And then for the last set, I'm gonna try and go ahead and get a ballpark of, I don't know, 8 to 12, give or take. But yeah, as I said before, it's just like one of those where it's like a little cheat sheet right there, where, you know, like I said, you're leaning back, you're keeping your back up against the pad and you're forcing down, you're gonna target triceps, you know. But if you kind of lean a little bit more forward, you're gonna cover chest, cover delts. So, and I don't have, that's the other thing too, as far as with the bar placement, depending on where you're doing dips, either it's off of Smith machine or off of free, like off the, you know, just the solid dip machine itself. You know, the dip machine should be able to kind of go and spread out almost like in a V tape. So, of course, if you're wider, you have more emphasis on it. Closer, you have more emphasis on your triceps. So, but here we go. We're gonna try and go somewhere for 10 to 15. Felt real nice. So for this last one, I weigh about 160. I haven't checked my weight in about a week or two, but I weigh roughly about 160. And it's 5 pounds a little extra on me. I got it at 165. So we're gonna go ahead. I know we could, you know, push it down and stuff like that. Like I said, I want to try and get every time like the max rep count. So, said max rep count right now is 8 to 12, if I said that correctly. So, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's get that 12. So. Okay, went ahead and got 12. Like I said, you're doing it in a fashionable manner. Like I said, you're still working this whole arm and everything, but you're gonna start feeling a lot more on the delts, as I said it. So yeah, I say give it a try, see if it, you know, works for you. Like I said, I do all these more so what works for me. Whatever may work for me may not work for you, but at least it's kind of like a little takeaway, or be like, you know what, never done that. Let me try and give it a try. Let's switch it up, you know? So let's go ahead and move on to the next on the next equipment. I think I might go into dumbbells. I think I might end up going to dumbbells. Kind of get dumbbells out the way, because then everything else comes super easy. Okay, went ahead and grabbed some 40s. I think the objective for this, like I said, I want to be aggressive with shoulders, but I want to be aggressive with the weight, keep the rep count kind of like low. So I went ahead and grabbed 40s. I know I could knock out the 40. So we're gonna go ahead and do the 40s for 10. That's what I'm thinking in my head. 3 sets. First rep count is gonna be 10. Second rep count is gonna be 5. Third rep count is gonna be 5. But as I'm doing the rep counts and I'm doing the weights, we're gonna do 2 variations. So I'm gonna go ahead and start horizontally, your traditional shoulder press. Then we're gonna go ahead and go vertically, try and touch at the top, and it come down. So you'll end up kind of see, like, you know, from different angles, like how I'm doing it. So Right now I'm gonna go ahead and show you from the anterior side, the two different variations, and then we'll kind of switch it up for you guys. You know what I'm saying? So. Okay, so that's going, what is it, horizontally. So now we're gonna go ahead and do vertically. Okay. Kind of give you a slight little brief overview with that one. So the objective every time is, as soon as I come down shoulders, kind of like, I wouldn't say give it a bounce, but let it touch shoulders. As soon as it's touch shoulders, come up, touch at the top. Like I said, trying to work on the full range of motion. Over time, when you don't do your full range of motion, what happens is, like how I kind of like explained a little bit earlier, the more you kind of create like the habit of going like half rep, or half rep, is you eventually won't be able to lock out all the way. You start to develop like that muscle. Your muscle, think of it like a rubber band and like a freezer. Over time, like once you get to a point where you freeze that rubber band, the rubber band won't be able to like really stretch till it's like warm and it has like its room temp. But if you're able to constantly be able to move that rubber band, it'll be able to stretch, you know? So I'm just that type of person where I always try to finish not like 50%, but 100%. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and swap out the 40s for 50s and then finish off with the 60s. So okay, we got the 50s now. Same thing, we're gonna go ahead and try and do horizontally, vertically, but I think for this one, I wanna start off with vertically. It's got a little bit more like, that's how I have to say it, but yeah, so let's go ahead and do the vertically, and then we'll go ahead and do horizontally. So. Okay, verticals weren't too bad. I thought it was gonna be a little bit worse. It wasn't that bad. So let's go ahead and do it horizontally. Damn, y'all. On that fourth one, I was shaking like a dog. But ain't stop us. So we're gonna go ahead and swap out the 50s, transition to 60s now. That should be so much fun. Go ahead and get those going. Okay. So I ended up having to refresh myself, but got the 60s right now. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I need, my wrist supports, I try as much as possible to try and do these exercises without like the support, because like over time, like once you start to use like the like the belt, the wrist wraps, all those kind of stuff, you're relying on the other muscle groups to kind of like do the work rather than that like immediate like muscle, tendon, ligaments, or whatever that really like activate. A lot of times you try to have like a spotter, and I use those like when I don't have a spotter, of course. But like I said, you kind of like look at the longevity and like the development of like your body and your muscles. Like I said, I try not to like really like resort to it unless I like really need to. So it's like, hey, I can't get the 60s up because I know I need like support at my wrist and my wrist keeps on bending or something like that, then I'll probably put it on. But like I said, we'll see how it goes. But I'm gonna come with the mentality like, yeah, we're gonna push this bitch. But like I said too, if you kind of need a little break, you need to kind of like catch yourself, get 3 reps in, and you need to finish up 2 reps, take a little break. It don't hurt to kind of take a little break. Once you get the 2 reps in, feel like you get 1 more just to kind of give you like a little bonus for taking that break, do it. I encourage it. So let's go ahead and start off with vertically. So here we go. That was a nice good press. And like for that, I had to kind of like figure out like the adjustment. Felt like I was leaning too much forward with the dumbbells as I'm going up. And of course, elbows kind of flaring out a little bit more. Kind of bring elbows in, bring dumbbells a little bit back, and we're fine. And driving off on my palm, helps a lot. So go ahead and do regular, your standard shoulder presses, and yeah, we'll kind of see what the next one is. So see if we go ahead and get these 60s, knock out these 5 real easily, kind of go from there. Well, that was a push, and it felt real sloppy, but we got it. So there you go. Okay, y'all. So I'm starting off with 15s. I'm gonna start off with 15s. From the 15s, we'll move our way to 17 and a half and 20s. As far as for the repetition count, like I had a couple of things in the idea. Either I could go ahead and do a high rep count for the first one, and then go and drop down to the rep count as I increase with weight, or it's just doing 3 burnout sets, but you see, like if I do the 3 burnout sets, I want to kind of keep everything kind of like consistent. So I don't know, but I think for this, just to kind of be safe, but because it's going to be 3 variations going to 1 set. My best bet is I'm probably going to end up doing maybe somewhere from 12 to 15 for the first one. We'll try 12 to 15 for the first one, and I'll show you the variations, and then from there we'll do 10 to 12 and whatever, and then we'll go from there. So go ahead, give you the first variation. So you know the trick for this whole little workout, at least for me, is you can't rest the dumbbells. You know, you're gonna want to put the dumbbells down. There's gonna be a good reason for it. Until you do it, you'll understand why. But I'm not gonna say. But we're gonna go ahead and show the second variation. Okay, good 15. Now one more variation. And that's it for the 15s. Then we'll go with 17, 15, 17 and a half. Damn. Oh, that's fucking heavy. So, I'll tell you, just to do those and hold the dumbbell, like I said, once you do it, you'll understand why. You'll understand why. It's kind of like one of those where it's like, why is he not dropping the dumbbells? Why can't he just take a break? Yeah. Oh, yeah. But going ahead into the second set. Second set's going to be the same thing. We'll just start off with a different variation. Then once we start into the different variation, we'll move on to the next one, etc. This one, like I said, will be somewhere around from 10 to 12, I want to say. So, see if we could do it. Now, I'll tell you, if you guys really have to go ahead and drop the dumbbells, because like you literally can't hold it while doing, what is it, lat pulls? Dumbbell lat pulls, drop it, you know. Ain't like somebody has a gun to your head, you know, no puns intended or anything, but, you know. So, go ahead and get the other variation out first. Like I said, we're going for 10 to 12. All right, getting real. Oh man. All right, really feeling it, y'all. One more variation. Go ahead. We got 6. Let's see if we can go ahead and knock out these 6. 1 count. Damn. Heavy. A little TED talk as we're kind of getting ready to go on to our 3rd one. But yeah. So I'll tell you this. As we're going ahead and doing the variation where we're going slightly forward and holding the dumbbells horizontally with an overhand grip, it's kind of going off to the side, targeting the rear side delt, putting emphasis on the back shoulder. As we're doing the forward or reverse version of lateral dumbbell pulls for dumbbells, kind of target front and then medial, regular, hit the middle. So that's why I'm kind of doing the 3 different variations, just to kind of switch it up and whatnot. So, but I'm really feeling it right now for shoulders. Now, you know, you do heavy, like doing the heavy dumbbells and stuff. It'll help with growth, but as I'm doing something that I can actually do the weights, you see it results a little bit better. You activate all the muscles, big and small, and you're not as acceptable to like getting an injury or getting injured, you know? So that's why I kind of like start low, kind of work up and just kind of see how I am. So let's go ahead. This one's gonna be, I think it's like 8 to 10. Let's try and aim for. So. Okay. Go ahead and knock these out. Oh man. We got one more. That's it, y'all. That is it for this one. Okay. So I'll tell you. Last one, thinking like 10. Said 8 to 10. Wanted to go to 10. Nah, I think I did pretty good for how I was moving the dumbbells the first 2 sets. I think I deserve that 3rd one, you know what I'm saying? Now, I'll tell you, as I'm working with the dumbbells, objective is not to like move fast. You want to move slow. Just take your time, you know? You feel it more as you take your time. See the results. You move a little bit faster like later down on the road once you start to go up on weights. But, you know, just do it right. Do it right, do it light. That's how I say it. And what I mean by that is, once you do it for a certain amount of time, eventually it becomes easy for you. Everything else becomes easier and you understand what you have to do. So we're gonna go ahead and do front lat pulls with the dumbbells. And same thing, three different variations. We're gonna go ahead, start wide, medial, close. I'm gonna focus a lot on the front of our delts. So, and then I'll show you something for rear side delts. Same thing, we're not trying to go ahead and drop the dumbbells, we're trying to go ahead and hold on to the dumbbells. And then from there, you know, move on to the next one. So jump into the next one is gonna be a little V shape. Going for 10. Real nice. Got one more, and they'll be close. For this one, I'm contemplating how I want it. I don't know if I want it together like these or off like this. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and hold it like this. Actually, come off to the side and go up. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. We went ahead and went up to 12 and a half. So we'll see, we're gonna try and go ahead and do 2 sets. Same thing, just start off doing the variations different. So. That was my first 10. That was nice for that one. Got one more. This one's the V shape. And that is it for at least front raises. Okay. So what we're gonna go ahead and go straight into, I'm gonna go ahead and do a overhead press, straight bar at a 45. We're gonna head and do head. I wanna go behind head. Emphasis a lot on the back shoulder, and medial part of shoulder, we do top. So let's go ahead and get this going. I think I want to do 3 sets. I think the 3 sets, I'll do this one for 10. Second set will be 8, and then we'll do 6. I'm gonna try to adjust myself off of this one. It wasn't too bad for 10. Go ahead, behind now. That was nice. Going up. Okay, so we went ahead, grab 60s. Then we'll go ahead and start behind head first, and then go ahead on top. Going for 8. nice. Felt real good. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead, jump into 80s. Jump into 80. I don't know if I'm fatigued or not, but I'll go ahead and see if we go ahead and get the 80s. I think we're good. Okay. All right. As I'm wiping down, 80s weren't too bad, but we got them up. So going off to the next station, and so see y'all there. Okay. So we went ahead and grabbed like the easy bar attachment here for the cable machine. It's going to be a lap pull down, but doing head and behind neck. I'm not going to do really anything too much for shoulders. Like I said, I just want to have a lot more emphasis on the back side and on shoulders. So you guys will end up kind of seeing what I'm going to do. I didn't really feel like doing too much of long bore, but like I said, trying to put more emphasis on that back side, shoulders. So that one we did 10. This one we'll go ahead and do 10 as well, top of head. The reason why I went with this attachment is, like I said, it's kind of like have a little bit more emphasis on the backside, shoulders. And even as I'm touching the top of my head, you're still feeling a lot of emphasis, you know, backside, medial part, shoulders, a little bit of front. But like I said, it kind of depends on like what you're going ahead and use them. But I want to target more backside, especially since the rear or posterior side, it's a little bit harder to kind of like develop. So that's why this is kind of like my little best friend right now. So. That's nice for that one, for the posterior side. Okay. Still felt good. Still felt good. Like I said, trying to put a lot of emphasis on that posterior side. You know, I'm kind of like contemplating, should I do something else for like, cable machines as far as like shoulders? I think I might end up just kind of like calling it a time. I think I'm getting pretty satisfied for the day as far as like what I'm doing with shoulders. And like when you're looking at it, as I'm doing it, it's like, damn. Some things are like lightweight, and it's like, is it really that bad? Yeah. I feel it. Once you do it, you'll feel it. So go ahead, get this third set out. I'll tell you, the trick for doing this is kind of like not having elbows flared out so much, kind of have elbows a little bit more tied in, so that way as I'm pulling, I'm kind of contracting backside. Same thing as I'm doing wide, same thing, you're kind of bringing it like a W. You know? So, go ahead and get this last, reps out, and, what's the favorite word? Next station. But, here we go. That was nice. That was beautiful. Bon appetit. All right. So, like I said, going on to the next station. What it may be, I have no clue. But we'll go. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and do upright rows. It's starting to get real crowded in here. So I had to kind of like go ahead and start isolating as much of an introvert that I am. So we're gonna go ahead and use the 45 easy bar curl. I'm gonna do close, I'm gonna do wide variations. I think as soon as I'm done with this one, it just kind of like popped in my head. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I could grab one of the plates and do the upright row variations, which you can. I think it may be a little bit strenuous just because you're going to start activating a lot more forearm. But, once you go ahead and kind of like execute what you're wanting to do, it's going to work out no matter what. I'm still working forearms out, even from doing the upright rows, so it doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and jump into this, and then we'll go ahead and move on to the plates. So bear with me. Okay, now with this one. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with the 10s just to kind of see, because now at this point, it's like more like of a isolated upright row, which isn't bad, but like I said, I'm gonna kind of start off low, see how we are, and then kind of work up from there. I'll tell you, I think the objective with this, at least what I did with the 10s, is as we're coming up, passing the clavicle, collarbone, and we're here, it's kind of almost like once you're up here, squeeze. Up here, squeeze. Up here, squeeze. Just kind of, actually doing like an upright row, like as we're here, putting that emphasis on the traps and shoulders. Okay, so let's go ahead, knock out another 10 or so. I'm going for 10. All right. Well, I'll tell you, I'm not going to 35. I'm just not. So I'm gonna stick with the 25s for this last rep or last set. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do 8. I think I'm satisfied with the 8 count, or at least doing the 8 count. Now, I feel if I could go ahead and push for the 10, I'll go ahead and push for the 10. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and do a 8. All right, I am done with the 8. All right, y'all. So I am done with the plates. I was just kind of like bombarding, I guess, and scoping out, you know, machines or particular machines of like what I wanted to do. I think there is one that is open that I want to do because I really want to target rear delts. But if it's not open, okay, not pressed about it. The other one's open, I'll take it. If not, it is what it is, and then we'll kind of go ahead and get into cardio when I get cardio in today. So bear with me. Okay, so right now we're gonna go ahead and do delt raises. For this, you're supposed to be sitting the opposite way or the other way around. But in this case, I want to get a lot more emphasis on the rear side of my delts. So, you know, like once you do the variation, which I'll show you, it's gonna look awkward, it's gonna look weird. I know a lot of people look at me and they're like, what the hell are you doing off of this machine? But honestly, it's real nice. You'd be surprised on what you can do and what you can't do with this. So, in this case, we're gonna go ahead and do the 3 variations. I have it set on 20, 30 pounds. And we're just targeting shoulder. I think for this, I want to start off by doing 10 for anterior, posterior, and medial. And once I get those 10 out the way, so 30 overall, then I want to go ahead and do a burnout set for like the last one. So I'm not gonna kill any more time talking. I'm just gonna just get in, get out. But let's go ahead and get it going. I'm gonna go up to 50s. And as you saw, those are like kind of like the little different variations. No, you're good. Those were kind of like the little different variations for it. But you know, as I am doing the posterior side, I'm here, it's just flaring. This is kind of like the motion that I'm doing. Flare, 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 flare. It's almost like the chicken dance, you know? As I'm here, 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 just kind of let the posterior side do its job, do its thing. So, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and do a burnout set right now, knock it out. Once I'm done, move on to the next one. So, there we go. God. One more. Y'all. All right. That's it. That's it for delt raises. And like I said, once you put a lot, and when I mean a lot of like that emphasis here on the rear or the posterior side, the delts, you'd be very surprised how you'll start to fatigue. But man, you know, feel it, you know, kind of burning, just working into that posterior side. But felt real nice. Like, I can't even give you a description just because I'm like, yeah, that was a phenomenal set. I think it was phenomenal. Ridiculous, but phenomenal. So, next station, and then from there, I think I shall probably be wrapping it up. Like I said, we'll go ahead and do some cardio and stuff, and I'll be wrapping it up. So, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of do core, work core, and all the machines over there are kind of taken up. And I'm like, all right, it's gonna be expected right now for it being 6:30. So we're gonna go ahead and do a couple like bicycle crunches and stuff, get the abs going, and yeah, I think that'll be it for core. I don't care for core too much. I'm not like a big guy for core, but you know, working on core, activating core helps you with so much other things. You'd be surprised. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do a couple of things. That's really it. Okay. I think I went ahead and got 20 knocked out the way. So feeling good. Shoulders are feeling good. So that I kind of have that tension build in on the posterior side and a lot in the medial. But let's go ahead and just do some bicycles there. Oh, all right. Then what I'm going to go ahead and finish off with, side obliques or side crunches, both sides, doing 10. That's it, y'all. You know, my tummy, I'd rather have a belly than have a like definition. Just me. But you know, sometimes you gotta get your stomach right, you know? You're doing squats, you're doing bench, doing something where you have to like really contract your stomach just to tighten up and do what you gotta do. Yeah. So, all right, let's go ahead and do the side crunches. I know that looked ugly. I care less. So, all right, that's it, y'all. We're going on to the cardio machine. Okay, y'all. So we're going ahead and wrapping this up. went ahead and got my cardio out the way. And I'll tell you, I just went ahead and walked regularly, and I walked reverse. That was literally it. I think I did the back pedals or whatever, maybe like 6 minutes, give or take, about 6 minutes or so. Nice, something different, something that I'm constantly doing. But you know, it's kind of like one of those good things. Kind of do back pedals. Why? It's a good way to balance. It's a good stabilizer. You kind of work the legs a little bit differently. And yeah, like how much else could you like really kind of complain about it? You know, I think it's like one of those things where it's not like commonly like a norm to kind of see, but you know, like when I did collegiate track and field and a few other things, or even working like in a rec center, and I did like my own personal training and stuff. It's just like one of those things where, you know, why don't you do the opposite variation of like how it's being done, you know? Like I would understand, like, is it because you can't do it and your body doesn't allow you to manipulate it the way that it should be? Or like what's the primary reason? But you know, in this case, we could go ahead and manipulate that. We could go ahead and do that. So in this case, for the takeaway from shoulders today, very satisfied, very happy about it. What else could I say about it? You know, there was just like a couple of things where I'm like, yeah, it looked nasty and stuff, but we still locked out, we still executed. You know, those are kind of like little fatigue moments where you kind of like, man, you know, maybe I should have taken like another break or so, but hey, if you're able to go ahead and do it and knock it out, why not, you know? Make every rep count. What's the other factor about this? Oh, I would even say too, like how I said, if there's something that you're having a hard time kind of like doing, or you can't do it, drop the weight. Like it doesn't hurt to kind of like drop the weight, give a weight, 5 pounds, 2 pounds, whatever the pounds is, underneath a try, you know? And then the other factor as well is, you know, if you need to kind of like take that little breather just to kind of like finish up that last set, that last rep and whatnot, go ahead. You know, you guys kind of saw I had to kind of take like little breathers just to finish up that last couple of reps. Doesn't hurt. So yeah, but other than that, shoulders were real nice, especially the rear posterior side. That was real nice. I really enjoyed that the most today. But yeah, you know, trying to get a little bit more growth, a little bit more definition on those shoulders. You know, you want big shoulders to go ahead and kind of create that illusion, you know, posterior side. The more you're able to go ahead and get that posterior anterior side, it helps out a lot. You guys just don't, you know, you just would only imagine or wouldn't know. So yeah, but that's kind of like my takeaway for today. You know, there's other things that I could add in and kind of go on and do, but you know, you kind of save it for like the next week. You kind of do it when you can. But yeah, this is kind of like my full day of like doing shoulders, or like what a full day of shoulder workout kind of consists of. But thanks for joining. Thanks for kind of like, you know, just watching me work out, you know, just like one of those things. But any questions, kind of any comments that you want to leave, I am more than open and very transparent to kind of like hear what you guys have to say. You know, if there's kind of like a question of like, well, hand placement, why are you doing it this way, whatever, just let me know, you know. Comment would literally be a nice place for me to kind of check and answer those questions, you know. But yeah, stay tuned for like next workout. The objective for this channel, I think, where I'm trying to go and approach with it, it's kind of like drop videos daily, you know. Of course, like the videos when you don't see it, it's kind of like my rest day or something's kind of going on in personal life. But hey, it doesn't, you know, it doesn't take away from me actually trying to get like my workouts in, because at the end of the day, everybody kind of needs a workout, you know. So once again, thanks for tuning in, and until next time. So
Peace, y'all.